Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Again, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. How you doing today? It's Monday, December 23rd, 2024, as we go ahead. And I can't believe I had my mic off again. Oh, well, we'll get there. Yes, we can hear you now. You should be able to hear me. Yeah, you can hear me. All right, let's go ahead and have some fun. Sorry about that. It's one of those days. Yeah, I take a day off, and what do you know? My whole configuration screws up. Oh, trust me, Frazzle, I am no boomer. I'm what you call a Gen Xer. How about that? You should go ahead and try running this thing. I've got a monitor here, a monitor there, 2 cameras, and 8 lights. Oh, it's fun. It makes me look so pretty. So pretty and beautiful. On that note, let me go ahead and welcome. Look, I got from the chat. Let me go ahead and welcome in our audience. Let's start the drums. Where'd I put them? There we go, everybody. I checked the drums. I checked everything except not my freaking microphone. On that note, let's go ahead and welcome everybody in. Good afternoon, everybody. Let's go ahead and take a look who's out in our chat right now. Let's see who's out there. All right, we got Ann Joanne, the $7 million man. XA Phil's here along with Elcino. We got Alex, American Buldane. Andre's here along with Angel Flight 76. Anton Ghost is along with us along with Ashton Dennis. We've got Azriel, Aries, Becky is here along with Blunder Bill. We got Brian Pemble. Brickmox Germany popped around along with Blunder Bill. Good to see a Blunder. He came in just the perfect time. And also Benjamin Dreyer. Good to see you guys. All right, we also have Brother or so, Bruce Dallas, Carl Joe Garrison's here along with Christopher, Cosmo. C. Blonde's report just popped in along with Corporal Abe. Good to see you, Abe. We got CR, Craig, Cypher 75 DT's here along with Daryl. We've got D the B. There we go. I got that one right. Let's get to Dive Plane. Dizzy Lizzy, 1036. Dude Abides popped in along with Edward, Electronica. We also have Elizabeth is here. Eric Roth and the Gurus. We have Eternal Being. We've got Festalin Greyhawk is here. Good to see you. How's your birds flapping, my friend? Fink Floyd's here along with Firefly. Frank Einstein. We got Frazzle Says. Fred the Child. GD's here. Genzu. Ghostbuster Slimer. Gray Hair Discoveries here. Gabrielle just popped in along with GD. Good to see you two popping in. We also have Gringo Suave. We got Gray Hair Discoveries. Guitar Lessons with Sheldon's here. I don't need any lessons. Put that aside. Gun, Nidler, Nenhiler, 3329. I am Cronus here along with It's Nuclear. JB Ninja's around along with James Brown, J-Cat, Gene, Jeff Carrero, John Mooner, Joker Mojo. I like Mojo. There we go. John Pilgrim, Johnny UFO, Casey Mikowski. We also have Kathy and Kelly Brout and her piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. We've got King Bull Clippers here along with Cody, Kodoku. Yeah, Lee Asbury's popped around along with Lee McCurr. All the way from United Kingdom, we have Liberty Wing United Kingdom. Yeah, he's the one who's been keeping the eye on what's been going on at the Lake and Heath Air Force Base in the United Kingdom. Yeah, that's the place where we're bringing all of our nukes to, I believe, or at least some of them. Well, we've got Lick Clickers here. Oh, you got me this time. Little Tesla's here. We got Live Free, Lucky 81 Jewel, M. Griffassi. We got Malou. Where's Skip? Nope, we got Malou though. Maritime Unprepared is here along with Mark Kyle. Marty Kin is here. Marvin the Martian, Megan Betts, Merle Dog is around along with Mia Luna. We got Micah Morton's here, Michael J. Michael Rogers, Micah Neri. We got Mike E. Mike Morrison, Nancy Kuzmano's here. Good to see you back again, Nancy. We got Nancy Pelosi. How about that? Need to follow your stocks. Great investment plan, my friend. NHGG is here along with Nikki Lilly. Nowhere Fast, NV4ME first. NVMe Forever first. Great hard drives, my friend. We have Omar is here along with Diversec. Paladin of Theseus is here. Welcome Paul Damon, Paul Enzo, Paul Ross, Pete Wilson, Philip Shefford, Rabbit Leader 230, Rames Stornhunter. We also have Rams here along with Reality Check VIP. We've got Rebecca Curry's here. Renan is around along with Richard Manish. Right meow. Where's the left one? We got Keep It Rollin's my friend. Rough Freddy's here along with I'll just call you Rye for the short term right now. Samuel Slayton's here along with Sharon. Good to see you, Sharon. We've got Shermanator Osborne. Slow Life, Snarf McGrew is here along with Sunshine. Oh, would you look at that? We've got Stash here, Steven, Steve Taylor, Stevie Cakes, Teddy, Fave and Jay. I got that one right. A little pretty. It's one of those days. The Chromosome Cowboys here, along with the Mop Universe. The Shape is around, Toxic Revenger, Vern Alexander, Winos Ryan, Warren Carissa, When Weebs React, Wooshies here along with Yankee 58, Zombie Wolf 64, F5 Twister, and N Tate. How about that? All right. Welcome everybody to the show. On a serious note, before we go ahead and really get this thing kicked in today, and I welcome in our friends in the back. One of our friends who used to be in the back was part of the show in the past, a man by the name of Larry Gurnt, who I used to say, Larry, quite contrary, how does your hair grow so well? Passed away, and he is no longer with us. He had a massive heart attack the other night. I got a message from his beloved wife this morning. Larry, whichever way you're up or down, whether you're looking up at us or looking down at us, our hearts and love goes with you, my friend, and may you be in rest in peace, my friend. On that note, I had to go ahead and get that out of the way. It's always sad to hear when somebody moves on, but interesting character. Definitely was an interesting character. On that note, I want to go ahead and strike up the band. It's that time of the night, friends, to go ahead and welcome in the rest of our back who's still with us. What are we talking about? Let's welcome in our dear friend coming all the way from the United Kingdom. That would be our dear friend Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy W. How's it going, Andy?
Hey, Thomas. Hi, everybody. Yeah, very quickly, I've literally just popped in because I'm not able to join you all tonight. I got to be up early. It's my daughter's birthday on Christmas Eve, so... And unfortunately, I got a work part of the evening. So, yeah, I just thought I'd come in, wish everybody a very happy Christmas to all of our new friends and old friends alike. And hope you have a safe, happy, and, wonderful Christmas.
Yep. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you stopping in. And you have a wonderful Christmas Eve and birthday celebration for your daughter.
I will do, mate. Yeah, happy Christmas, everybody.
Happy Christmas, Andy. Thank you, sir. I also want to welcome in our dear friend coming from the city that never sleeps in Bangkok, Thailand. Let's welcome in Corporal Abe. How's it going, Abe?
Hey, good morning, good evening, guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve here in Thailand, so I'm super excited for tomorrow. I'm unwrapping my gifts, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Abe. Also in the back here, we've got our next contestant, our next viewer in the back. We've got Dylan. How's it going, Dylan? You're unmuted. Maybe not. The mic's not working. Okay, let's go ahead and put our sights on down to the desert south, well, to the southwest, or the south for that matter. Let's welcome our dear friend Ed Brown. How's it going, Ed?
It's going real well, Thomas, and good evening to you and Mike, and Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas as well. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you coming in today. I think we'll be around for the next couple nights, so we'll be stopping in for some Christmas cheer with our friends. So thanks for coming in today, Ed. Also in the back, we've got another one of our dear friends, Kenneth Anderson. How's it going, Ken?
Fine, and hello from Omaha, Nebraska.
Good to see you, my friend. Absolutely great to have you here. Also in the back, we've got another one of our friends coming from the great state of Wisconsin. Let's welcome in Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great, Thomas. Happy holidays to everyone, no matter how you spend it. I understand Hanukkah is also kind of overlapping this year around Christmas time.
Yeah.
So
happy holidays to everybody. And what I usually say when you bring that up, happy holidays, everybody. Yeah, that always puts a smile on my face, too. Also want to welcome in another one of our dear friends coming to us from the United Kingdom. Let's welcome in Lord McCormick. How's it going, Lord?
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Just to basically say, I think it's officially now I can feel comfortable saying happy holidays. And send my best to everybody in the States. I'm sorry to hear about your friend's loss, and my condolences to their families. And I thought your words, actually, Thomas, were very well composed, mate, and quite moving, to be honest with you. Hello,
you,
Andy. Hope you're well, mate. I'm also working tomorrow. I'm a chef by trade, so this is crazy season for me, and I've got 215 booked in for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So I will stay with you as long as I can. I've got some things to add in. I hope you enjoyed your day off, bro.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure you did. And hi to Ed as well. And obviously the rest of the guys there. Cap Abe, hope you're good, brother, over there in the Taiwan. And just everybody, happy season, happy, just stay blessed. And for the people that are feeling a bit down and don't have anyone there in their lives, or, it's 24 hours, just stay strong, yeah? We love you.
Absolutely. Love you too, man. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate that. Nice to hear that you're a cook. You probably cooked something good, so save some. I actually can't save some for me, but in spirit and mind. Also want to welcome in another one of our friends coming from the country where all the users silent. Let's welcome in our dear friend Michael Suckloff, all the way from Canada.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
From the great white north.
Yeah.
And it's very white up here today.
Coo, 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 coo. Well, you said the great white north,
Hey, talking about that, how many drones does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know. How many drones does it take to change a light bulb?
Nobody knows. It's classified.
Good one, my friend. I love a good dad joke, but that's a good one. Yeah, I like it. Well, if we turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe, let's see who pops up out of Australia. Well, I could say it's none of your business, but I think it's Susan Ford. How's it going, Susan?
Really good. Really in the Christmas spirit today, if you can't tell.
Love the ears. I actually saw one of the residents of my neighborhood driving around. They had those ears on coming out of each of their windows on their little SUV. Speaking about SUV-sized vehicles, they look good on the drones all over the East Coast because it's still going on, folks. They're still flying over New Jersey. They're still flying over Pennsylvania. It's still been going on, so it hasn't slowed down. Thank you, Nanya. Also, I want to go ahead and welcome Rick Roberts. How's it going, Rick?
Doing great. Let's light it up for Larry tonight. Smoke him if you got him.
There you go, my friend. Also coming to us from the great state of New York, let's welcome Tia Maria. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas to you too, my dear lady.
Everybody else, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm wrapping gifts. I've been doing it for probably hours. My fingers hurt from the tape. So.
That's right. Our friends in the UK, it already is Christmas Eve. Forgot about
Merry
that.
Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, last person in the back, we've got actually one more beyond that. Let's welcome in our dear new friend, TVT. How's it going, TV?
Hey, Merry New Year and Happy Christmas, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming in, my friend. Absolutely.
A little under the weather today.
Oh,
I'm just going to sit in the back.
Cool, man. Great to have you around. And then
Thank you.
Go Go ahead. What'd you say again? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, my friend. Absolutely. Mike, Disclosure. How's it going, my friend?
Going very well. Now that we had a day off, recharge our batteries. We certainly have a lot to cover and talk about for the audience tonight. It's going to be an interesting show after the weekend.
An interesting smorgasbord, as we'd call it.
Pretty much, yeah. That sums it up well.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun conversation for everybody.
Well, jumping into the top story tonight, that's on our headlines. Yes, there is yet another airport that's been shut down, except this time it's not been in the United States. This time it's been in Japan. This story started off yesterday with some initial details, and more things have been rolling in since that happened. Let me go ahead and bring this one up for us to get to it. All right, coming from the NHK News last night. Multiple drones affect aircraft takeoffs and landing at Iwakuni Airport in Yamaguchi. Well, believe it or not, Yamaguchi is just to the south and west of Hiroshima. If we take a look at the big map of Japan and kind of figure out where this is. Now, as the story goes, let me go ahead and bring this around so I can get through it easily, and we can, let me bring it down here. I can probably cover it down here as well. All right, so Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni in Japan. Reports of drone sightings at this base south of Hiroshima caused the airfield to temporarily halt military and civilian flights on Sunday evening their time, according to U.S. military and Japanese officials. The MCAS Iwakuni control tower notified an all Nippon Airways flight scheduled to land at 6:50 p.m. on Sunday at the airport that drones were flying at the airport.
So you're going to want to grab some tissues because this one is a tearjerker.
All right. An official at the Iwakuni office of the West Japan Civil Aviation Bureau told Stars and Stripes by phone on this Monday. The company contacted the Civil Aviation Bureau, which in turn checked with the U.S. military, the official said. Commercial aircraft at the airport share a runway with aircraft from the U.S. Marines and Navy and Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. So this sounds like if we have drone incursions going over an airport like this is kind of those incursions like we've been seeing at Langley, possibly in the United Kingdom. These are different than the ones we've been seeing flying over the homeland of the United States, primarily over non-military targets, like they're looking for something. Now, the ANA flight flew a holding pattern while waiting to land at the airport, but once low on fuel, it diverted to Hiroshima Airport, the official said. Around 8 p.m., the Aviation Bureau confirmed that the airport had reopened, and the plane returned to Iwakuni at 9:41 p.m. The airport closure delayed the ANA's aircraft 7:30 return to Haneda Airport by more than 2 hours. So, Mike, here we go. Another incident of drones shutting down an airport. More importantly, shutting down a military airport.
That's the key, though, isn't it, Thomas? It seems like these drones all over the world, these incursions, they're targeting U.S. military,
right?
Aren't they?
They have been for years, and it's been the standard practice of our military, at least under the Biden administration, for the last 4 years to go ahead and say there's no threat, there's nothing we're going to do about it. Now, just to go ahead and note on that, this isn't the first report of a drone incident at a U.S. base in Japan. In May, the Navy investigated overhead photos and videos posted on social media X platform of the aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan docked at the Yokosuka Naval Base. Drone sightings have been on the rise in the U.S. with many reports in Jersey. So, yeah, yet another military base getting invaded by eyes in the sky. Not necessarily non-human intelligence, but you never know.
No, that's true too. But if, and I know we're going to probably cover this later, but according to the DOD, as recently as today, they're not taking this too seriously, are they? They're not putting in any of the necessary equipment that would properly track and identify these objects. And they're still telling everybody that it could be simply hobby drones, which you and I both are well aware of. It certainly isn't.
Oh, that seems to be the thing. What they're calling it out in the United States, they're definitely calling it out as hobby drones. The kind of drones that high school kids would go ahead and buy at Walmart or the local gas station, which just doesn't make sense, does it, Mike?
No, it's insulting to even make a point like that, Thomas. But they've been doing that pretty consistently. And the other tactic that they use is, oh, it's probably manned aircraft. Well, anyone that's seen any videos of these objects, this is certainly not manned aircraft at all.
Now, some of the drones that were shot did have the look of an actual commercial airplane. It actually had almost the shape of like what you'd have for a 737, but like on the size of an SUV. So clearly there's craft that are out there that have been flying in the skies that aren't your traditional drones, that are equipped with, if you want to call it, advanced technology that our government is unable to track. Maybe it's because the equipment they're giving has already been programmed not to track these things.
It could be something. I mean, look, when we had the Chinese spy balloon last year come across the continent of the United States, their answer to the public was, well, we have filters in our sensor systems that don't track slow-moving objects, if you remember. And once they took those filters off, they detected the 3 objects that were shot down that they never provided any additional information on after.
Oh, you mean
back in February.
The UFOs that they shot down, but they never went and shared one picture of it coming from the United States government, yet the images that were given are the one that was shot down, I believe, over the Yukon, that looked like a capital C for that matter. That one was shared with Canada, and then Canada shared it with the public. You know, why is our government so hell-bent on covering all of this up, sharing it with partner countries who share it with their people, but we can't get it firsthand from our own country? It's just, it's a disgrace, Mike.
It really is, but that's okay because look, we've also made points, and now in social media, everyone else is making points that that's about to change. Representative Anna Paulina Luna announced today that she knows there's going to be a lot of change in the UAP subject with the new administration coming in. There's going to be a lot of support from the executive branch moving forward, and they're looking forward to the changes that are going to occur, which for the first time might provide for us and the audience and the general public what the hell has been really going on this whole time. So looking forward to that.
Oh, me too, Mike. Me too. Just to go ahead and bring up some videos. These 2 are from yesterday. Yeah, the drones are back in New Jersey. I've got an image, a video clip, loop I'm going to bring up here in a second. Let's get this to, let's just go back to this one. This worked pretty well. This video I've got going on the left here, this is one that's actually taking place in Bridgewater, New Jersey, over a resident's home. And then the one I'm going to be bringing up here on the right at the same time is over Pennsylvania. So drones are still in the air. No, these are not traditional aircraft. There's no noise profile, but it has that same look and feel that we've been seeing on other drones on the East Coast for some time, Mike. So we're not out of the drone situation yet. While it does look like there's more things going on and in Pennsylvania, we still have stuff going on in New Jersey. And just to go ahead, and since we brought up the stuff about New Jersey a second ago, as we're talking about it, there was a scare that came out, I believe this was yesterday or Saturday night, Mike, that a large section of New Jersey, the water was coming out tainted. It had a weird taste, a weird smell to it, also an odd color. Additional investigation, and as soon as we heard it, the first thing that Mike and I both thought about was, could this be related to the drones that were seen hanging out over the
reservoir drinking water?
Exactly.
In Jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly, according to the state of New Jersey today, there was a repackaging facility that rehandles repackages stuff like perfumes and other kinds of liquids. They actually had a leak, and it was going into the river where a lot of this water is actually sourced from the community. So at first it sounded like it could be something a bit more nefarious, but luckily it turned out to be that's not the case, if we believe them.
True. It's hard to believe just about any official statement that's been coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you never know. There was, There was what, over 70 counties in New Jersey that their drinking water smelled like nail polish, the way that they described it. That's a large area, Thomas, throughout the state. 70 counties.
Yeah.
So I don't know if one leak in one part of the state would be responsible for that kind of widespread contamination.
That seems to be the way. It's a scary situation anytime the people's water supply is involved, Mike.
Oh yeah, it's very serious. This is something that, you know, you can't ignore, and if there's something that's directly impacting that, you know, and it's unknown as to the cause, that can only be construed as a threat to public safety, which Admiral John Kirby told everybody there is no threat to public safety or national security right now in the country.
I don't
think. Not true.
While there may be some people, Mike, who believe what Admiral John Kirby has been saying, I don't think there's anyone who's watching this podcast right now or in the back or anywhere that actually believe this guy, because all we've been hearing from him has been excuses after excuse after excuse.
Well, you know the old policy for the Pentagon: deny, 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 and when all else fails, deny.
Deny. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We have some hands up back here.
All right, let's take a look at who we have first. Christian Morales, go ahead, my friend. Now, you've been posting, you had sent him some videos that we showed the other day where you've been seeing craft up over Minnesota. How are things tonight?
Hey guys, how's it going? Very cloudy. Haven't seen anything interesting because it's winter and gross over here in Minnesota. But yeah, man, I'm happy you guys were touching on all the points that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, about the water in Jersey, that's interesting. What's going on? Mike made a very important point earlier that they seem to be targeting these military bases, and I know they've always done that, but this time it seems like they're trying to make a point, way stronger point than usual. And I don't know what it means, but I do. You know, okay, so you know how Elizondo talks about preparation of the battlefield, and he was saying that UAP are increasing in numbers. So I wonder, now that they're like showing them, because I'm convinced this is UAP at this point. I mean, I've been trying to make sense of it and like banging my head against the wall, trying to find another explanation. And it's been so long that I just don't see how it can be Russia or China. I might be wrong on my opinion, but that's where I'm heading towards.
Right.
So now that civilians, they're not hiding anymore, what does that mean? Nobody really knows the answer to this question. But I don't know, it's like something changed. Like they're trying to make some sort of point.
Well,
and that's it. That's all I got.
Just to answer that really quick, Christian, supposedly has been stated by future President Trump, number 47, has said the White House and the military knows exactly what's been going on with the drone situation over the East Coast. Let's just take everything along with that and put it in this coffee cup and set it to the side. The rest of the sightings that we've been having going over military bases, that's of a different caliber. It's the same. If it's the same, it may or may not be the same as the orbs we're seeing that regularly come over our nuclear power plants. And likely what we've got is a mix of foreign adversaries and a non-human intelligence who's very interested in what we have going on with our nuclear warheads and armaments. So it's just a matter of understanding potentially what and where. I don't think we could take all of them. If I take my Mickey Mouse hat, turn it upside down, throw everything in here, I think we're going to be having a great mix of different things going on. Okay, we got some stuff coming in a pic in the back. We'll bring that up in a second. And while we're waiting for that, TVT, go ahead. You have your hand up, my friend. TVT, you might be muted.
Yeah, thanks. I just kind of wanted to jump in and talk about the seriousness of the situation with the water supply. I mean, that's good information to know. I appreciate hearing that. I used to work for the water department, so this is definitely interesting news to me. The only thing I got to say, people, is kind of maybe stock up on some water filters if, these reports are in your area, and don't jump to any conclusions. That's just good news to have, and I appreciate the update.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just have to figure it out. Yeah, don't forget when we had the issue going on with the train wreck that happened in East Palestine in Ohio about a year and a half ago. When that happened, the officials came out and also said, oh, yeah, the water is safe to drink. Yet when they were actually given a glass of water from the tap, they refused to drink it. So it's always when stuff like that goes on, be careful. Although the government may tell you one thing with regards to safety, it's always to take and do what you feel that you need to do for your own safety. We do have a couple people with their hand in the back, but first I want to know SRF, I think. Someone said you sent me a pic. It has not shown up yet, so not sure where it is, but I think I gave it to you. It's ThomasFesslerChannel at gmail.com is the one you can send it to me at, just to say it again. If we can, a couple more people in the back have their hands up. Actually, one more, Kron, before we get on to our first video.
Greetings, Thomas. I have a quick question. How long does the American people, how long do you think they will tolerate being made a spectacle with these drones? How long do you think it can go on of, you're crazy, we're sending technology, we're shutting down airspace, but you're crazy, nothing's happening? How long will the American people go along with this? I'm curious.
I think we've got about
20th.
We got about 28 days until the new administration comes in. And if these things are still hanging around and they're still not ours, they will be brought down, flat out. So we just have to give it a little bit more time. This has been going on now since middle of November, so we'll see where it goes to. I wish it was different. All right, coming up in our first story we've got a couple quick stories, some News Nation, and then we've got a special that was put out, a special report that was put out by Ross Colhart a couple nights ago. I'm sure a lot of people have seen. I know Mike and I have not had a chance to see it yet. Let's go ahead and play this next clip where we're talking about drone momentum, frustration to grow. So let's see where that's going to go on this one. Let me get to here. Oh, hey, I just about had it perfect. How about that? It's like I know where it goes. All right, let's play this. Here we go, folks. First video of the night.
Jersey Governor Phil Murphy says the drone detection equipment they received from the federal government isn't doing much to help them find out why the mystery aircraft have been seen in his state. The FAA implemented a temporary ban on drones in parts of New Jersey and New York until mid-January. In the meantime, the federal government says the drones do not pose a public threat. The Pentagon also saying they are not U.S. military or from any known enemies. Yet there's little information regarding who is behind them. Joining me now is Brad Crispin, co-founder of the Americans for Safe Aerospace. Brad, there's a whole lot of what it isn't, but nobody's telling us what it is. Drone sightings have been reported since mid-November, yet still no clear-cut answers. The public is frustrated. People are getting frustrated. Do you think people will lose interest the longer they have to wait for answers or become more frustrated?
No, I think momentum and frustration is building on this issue, Nick. I think you said it exactly right. There have been thousands of reports from concerned citizens. While some of those are misidentifications, that's not the key story here. The key story is that this incident reveals major vulnerability in our airspace. It reveals major vulnerability in our critical infrastructure, and a percentage of what people are seeing is truly concerning. There were overflights of Picatinny Arsenal and the Trump golf course that probably sparked this incident. And it's a years running pattern of mysterious overflights of military bases and in military training ranges by unidentified objects. And pilots are concerned, members of the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee have concerned, and they've been raising the warning for years.
Okay, Brad, you've been studying this for a while, like you said, since the beginning, and the reports started to come in. Do you believe that this is what the government is hoping for, that the public will actually stop asking questions, and do you believe they actually know what's behind it?
You know, I think the most concerning possibility is that they don't know what's behind it. And when you look at their statements, I think that's a real possibility when they say we have no evidence of a threat, we have no evidence of this, but yet they put up these temporary no-fly zones to allow for the detection and shooting down of drones that they otherwise don't have the authority for. So I do think that there's an issue here. I think that's self-evident. And I do think they're concerned about the misidentifications, adding a lot of noise to the signal. But they don't have this issue under control. And the most recent head of NORAD, General Van Herk, just went on CNN to say exactly that. Everybody's pointing the finger. No one's taking responsibility. This is a real problem.
And you and I know that you can't fly drones in the district, but that's just one area. But because people are seeing them over military bases, and like you said, over Mar-a-Lago. Now, the FAA issued the drone ban last week. Since then, has there been fewer drone sightings?
I do think we're starting to see a reduction in sightings, but the numbers, remain high as people are looking up and looking at the skies. Again, I think only a fraction of these are truly concerning, but, people want answers, and let's identify what's in our skies. There shouldn't be unknown objects operating over military bases, operating over critical infrastructure. There's no reason for it.
And then the federal government gave New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy detection instruments and machines to use, and he says they're not working. The technology isn't providing much information. Why do you think that is? Is it outdated? Is it just ineffective?
Well, I think it's meant to detect small drones, class 1 and 2 drones. And, that may not be, everything that's at play here. But there are going to be huge limits in terms of the detection capabilities, depending on what kind of active or passive technologies they're using to detect these drones.
And Brad, like you said, I think that if they're expecting the public's interest to wane, they are sadly mistaken. Brad Crispin, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Now, this is a video that's just shared by SRF in the back, and I want to go ahead and bring this up and address it. It's something that Mike and I talked about earlier last night. Let me go ahead and bring this one up. Supposedly, this is from New Jersey, and this is a drone that was found in New Jersey. If I go ahead and just play this first and just kind of show you what we're kind of looking at here, it looks like we're actually going ahead and taking a look at a drone that is on a boat off the shore of New Jersey. Now, first thing I want to go ahead and point out, a couple things. At the beginning of this, first of all, this guy's legs, much smaller than his body. Not only that, look how the legs are going up and down as he's looking at this stuff. Secondly, we've got a person who is standing in air on the outside of the boat. Thirdly, as we get into this, and I will go ahead and zoom on this area, look right here, you're about to go ahead and get another pair of legs, like someone is walking out, but there's no body. Well, we could say, what kind of muckery is this going on? This is something that you would call, my friends, as a what do you call it? I would call it a AI-based video of people going and trying to get, everyone's attention and trying to share the fame. But clearly, it's just one of those things you're just taking a look at. There are so many people, Mike, on Twitter these days that are engaged in something called, or they're doing something called engagement farming. This is where they're taking old video clips or fake video clips. They're posting on places on Twitter, so people will click on it. People will go ahead and look at it, and coming out of it, they're going to go ahead and say, wow, look at this. And the more clicks they get, the more people they get to go ahead and look at their videos, the more that they're going to actually, profit from basically, essentially, lying to people, Mike. It's a shame.
Yeah, it really is. The old term used to be hoax, which is what this is. And now they're doing hoaxing for clicks, for monetization on the platform. So, it's people don't believe everything you see. But Thomas and I inform our audience every day that you have to look at it with discerning eyes.
Right. And I've got up another video here that I'm going to go ahead and bring up. This is another one that you actually pointed out to me and said, hey, Thomas, what's going on with this one? And while this video initially came, let me make sure this is set up as a loop here. While people initially saw this and it was on Twitter and they're saying, "Oh my gosh, look at what we're seeing here. That's being seen from an airliner. Is that real?" Again, trying to engage the farmers. I mean, not the farmers, are trying to engage people with engagement farming. This is another AI video that people are taking from one social media platform. They're taking it to the next. They're taking out any reference of AI, and then they're sharing it. And why am I going ahead and sharing this? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who are looking for this kind of footage, trying to say, is this real? Is it not real? Oh my God, look, we got a great video of a UFO. And I think there's another one even today that I went and responded to on Twitter. Oh, this is where they had, let me see if I can find this one here really quick, Mike. This is another good one. Go to X, let me go to me, let me go to me really quick. Let me go to my replies. All right. This is a post in Twitter that was put out by someone by the name of Teal Red Octopus. And let me go ahead and just bring this video up. Let me just make it a little bit larger. You know, I'm just trying to do a service to everybody, not trying to go ahead and share stuff with people and call them out for not sharing the right thing. I'm just trying to make sure our audience is aware of what's going on out there. This is another one of those videos that's out there. And they're saying, hey, look at this. We've got a craft right here that's over a city. As the UFO is there, they're watching it, and it starts to take off, and they're saying, here, let me just play it in real time.
Rapidly moving object.
Look, it takes off with instantaneous acceleration. Hold on a second, folks. That's not instantaneous acceleration. That reminds me of something kind of like the Star Trek Enterprise or Discovery, getting ready to take off and go into warp, and then it's gone really fast. Instantaneous acceleration means it goes from like 0 miles per hour to 14,000 miles per hour, like that. And when a craft goes to that much speed, you will literally see it skipping from place to place on that camera. Why? Because as a craft goes to move, it's moving at a rate that's faster that the human eye can see, and it's also faster than what a camera can pick up. So anytime you're seeing these UFOs and it's really smooth movement, it's fake. I would say that 99% of the time. SRF, I thought the one you had sent was let me go back. Was that not you who sent me that one? Let me get back to my Gmail again. We've got some interesting pictures here going on over somewhere over where? I don't know where. Let me bring one of these pictures down. Someone just sent in the back right now. And I think this is the picture that they're talking about. Is this the picture you sent, SRF? He was in the back. He's no longer here. So someone has sent in another picture, something off in the distance. And it's way off in the distance. It's hard to tell. However, one thing that I'm noticing around the image that's lit up, you see how there's a lot more noise in this mic, specifically just around that picture. It almost looks like it was added to the picture afterwards. There should be a consistent amount of dithering going around the particular picture at that point. But it's an interesting piece. Can you see that, Mike?
It's a hoax, Thomas, like we've been pointing out. I see it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right to point that out.
You should be able to have consistent noise going throughout an image, but here you've got something going along these and it's kind of there, but where that's at, it just doesn't. Yeah, it's probably been added after the fact. Either way, appreciate people sharing pictures and trying to.
I thought the one you.
Hold on, TVT. You need to listen through Google Meet and not through YouTube.
You're talking about the hertz that your eye can see.
No, I'm talking about there's a echo coming back through your microphone that you're listening to our show through YouTube and not through the Google Meet itself. But what I was talking about in this particular image here is if you look at it and zoom in, can you see all these dots that are right around this image here? And it's a very heavily dithered image. And if you look at the sky going around it, the colors don't match. And more importantly, the amount of dithering doesn't match to what we're seeing in the background. So it is what it is. We'll just figure it out. That's the best thing we can do. Now, if we can, on our next story we've got coming up before we get to that special report coming into us from News Nation, another story from News Nation talking about the drones that may pose privacy risks or a privacy threat for people of the United States. Let me go ahead. Let's get this one up. But before we get there, I forgot. We actually do have, Alice, you have your hand up in the back, my friend. Go ahead.
Hi, Tom. Yeah, I wasn't really concerned about the drone situation until people started reporting that they're spraying things down and metals coming down, things like that.
Yeah.
And I know you're not leaning towards these being alien spacecraft, but my thought goes to like terraforming and everything. I've watched a little too much Star Trek, I think.
Oh, if so, I would say that's...
that.
Sorry. I would say, if anything, what we're seeing with the contrails and stuff, they're not contrails, actually chemtrails in the skies, that could be something more of a terraforming thing that we would be having from the stuff on the East Coast. Now, in reference to the drones of people were saying they saw them going ahead and spraying, the only picture I did see of it was what it looked like. There was a drone, and there was a light coming up from below hitting it, and there was a light going on an angle off on one way and another light going off at an angle in a different way. So along those lines, although there's a person who said there was spraying going on, we reported it, we haven't seen any evidence of that so far.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's the only part that scares me so far.
Yeah. So, SRF, you have your hand up. Are you Jose? You got your hand up. You might be muted. I've gotten two emails from you without any pictures, one with pictures of things in the sky. Either way, let's get on to our next video if we can, folks. We got a great audience building.
I'm unmuted now.
Okay.
Thomas?
Yeah.
I did send it to you. It's in the daylight. There's one picture that I sent you, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion. I took it myself.
All right. I've got one. Is your first name Jose?
No, Steven. It's SRF.
You know, there's nothing in my inbox. I'm getting
Can
emails
I?
pop in from other people right now, but not from you.
Let me try it again. I can't text it to you right now. I think you'll find it interesting. I wanted to see what you guys thought about
it's
uh,
it. ThomasFesslerChannel at gmail.com.
I'll send it right over.
All right, thanks. All right, let's get to this next story, folks. Here we go. Let's get to see what kind of privacy risks we're dealing with these drones in the sky. What kind of observations could they be doing?
The mystery in our skies. For weeks now, dozens of drones spotted in the U.S., especially along the East Coast. And this is what we've been seeing. Bright blinking lights, some of the aircraft the size of cars. The device is causing questions and confusion. And despite a plea from President-elect Trump, authorities are urging residents to not shoot down these drones. The FAA is now stepping in, temporarily banning drone flights in parts of New York and New Jersey. This phenomenon coming nearly 10 years after one congresswoman from New Jersey was already predicting problems with unmanned aircraft.
With drones being so easily accessible, we must consider the potential they have to be used as mechanisms to conduct an attack.
That was Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman nearly a decade ago warning about drones, and she is joining us again tonight. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you for having me.
And New Jersey has been a hot spot for these drone sightings. What are you hearing from your constituents, and have you seen any of these drones yourself?
I haven't seen any myself. We have had calls to the office about sightings. I've been briefed by a number of departments, the FAA, the Department of Defense, the Homeland Security, and other departments about the drones, about the sightings. So If you'd like to know what I do know.
Tell me what you know. Do you have any idea where they are originating from? Any ideas of your own?
Well, no, I don't have any ideas of my own. I know that the departments that have been briefing us have ideas regarding a good number of these drones. They're security drones that companies use. They're low-flying planes. They're drone enthusiasts. They're telling us that there are actually no foreign threat to our safety and security. And they say that they can account for the majority of these sightings, some of which are even helicopters. They can't account for all of them. And in that you can't account for all of them raises questions in our minds and concern that perhaps I agree that we don't have a threat, but do we have an invasion of privacy? Is someone collecting information privately that shouldn't? Is there a government entity that's not of this government doing just that? And so I think we have something happening. All of a sudden, there are all these sightings. They can't just be dismissed as low-flying planes, sports enthusiasts who are flying their drones, or helicopters.
I hear that.
And so we're still looking for more answers.
And do you think there should be more transparency with both local law enforcement and the public about what's actually going on?
Not only should there be transparency, there should be coordination. And so that locals can know very quickly what's in the skies over their territories, and that there's a response that we can do whatever we need to do to ensure the safety and security of the people on the ground. Now, I know that the federal government has brought more equipment and things of that nature, thermal detectors, other kinds of sensors, to be able to get a better understanding of what's in the sky that they haven't identified. But we don't know the answers to all of it right now. We should know. I want to take a moment to also caution people, do not try to shoot these things down. And please do not use your laser pointers, because pilots are in some of these little small planes, these low-flying planes, or just aircraft in general. And that tends to obscure their vision and creates a hazard for them.
Yeah, certainly do not want to create more of a dangerous situation, or debris falling out of the air, or pilots having any issues. I hear that loud and clear. New Jersey Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. As we get into our next thing, hearing from a former DOD insider, someone who used to work on the DOD. Before we get to this next piece, let's go ahead and bring up Kron. You have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a few points. One, I just wanted to say thank you for bringing up the AI point. I think that's very important, and it's going to play heavily into our future as we get closer, let's just say, to contact, right? And we're going to need to know what's real and what's not. And so expertise like yours, that's appreciated.
Yeah.
The next thing I was going to ask and say, but I guess it kind of leads into, I guess, your next post that you will present. But do you think it's a possibility, I'm just going to go ahead and call them advanced drones, right? Do you think it's a possibility there's a breakaway faction within, say, certain spaces within our government that could be using these things to send a message? Do you think that's a possibility?
Gosh, Mike, wasn't that brought up recently by someone on X? That I heard about that one, and that would basically mean we have a rogue part within our government that's setting this up. If that would be the case, I'd almost say it'd be better to have aliens than that going on. I think that would take too much, because what we're looking at least on the East Coast, Kron, is we've got 50 of these things coming in from the water every night, going and doing their stuff for 6 hours and going back, and doing this night after night, which basically points to a relatively large, if you want to call it, operation going on. And I don't think an operation of this size and scale could be going on without other parts of our government knowing it, being able to take a look from the sky, unless it's every single part of the government except the White House and DOD, which that's kind of
this is where
highly
I'll
unlikely.
push back on you just a little bit. We've had let's just say 50 years of black projects, black budgets, and things of that nature. Then we could also say, let's say DOD, White House, executive branch, etc., know of this faction, dealing with it, and that's why it's no foreign threat. Is that a possibility without lying to the American people? But I get what you're saying. You're saying it's resource intensive, and to use these types of resources, it would cause a hotspot to be able to be seen. But just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, just let's be honest. There are multiple branches of the intelligence community and military have the ability to see an object this size from the surface of the water out to beyond the moon, and to have them where they would shut down all the potential intelligence channels from the CIA to the FBI to the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency to the Air Force to the Space Force, and basically say all of them, we're going to make them all blind. I think all of these agencies know what's going on. And it's just at this point, it's a situation where even the White House knows what's going on. They're just not telling us for whatever the reason is. At least just specifically talking about the stuff on the East Coast, they have the specific morphology. Now, the stuff that's been coming for the longest time over our nuclear power plants, over our missile silos, over our bases where we have nuclear warheads, I would attribute that more to a non-human intelligence going on than incursions coming from a foreign power, at least in my take.
Got it. And okay. And I guess you would say we don't have access to technology to do that. Is that what you're saying? That's your perspective? Is there's no rogue group or private corporation or, entity?
Well, this has been going on since the 50s, 60s, 70s. All this time we've had, just many times over our national labs, like Los Alamos National Laboratory. They had a part back in the early 50s where they had over 200 saucer sightings all over the place within a short amount of time. So there are a lot of different places that these things have been seen. That doesn't necessarily point towards a foreign power, because some of this stuff has been going on again since the late 40s, early 50s.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Lord McCormick, go ahead.
There we go. Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yeah, sorry, bro. I wasn't asleep. First of all, Thomas, I thought it was brilliant the way that you actually broke down the kind of like surge of dodgy, what in the UK dodgy means like hooky. Okay.
Yeah.
Dodgy, hooky, bullshit videos. And I kind of get it, because if I was a kid and I was living in rural New Jersey or wherever, and there was this thing going on, we had a drone, I might strap some. Yeah, I know. I'm not. Don't get the ball out, Thomas.
I'm not.
Thomas, put the ball down.
The ball's on the floor over there somewhere. I always have to look for it on the floor.
Exactly. We all know what you mean. These things can be tracked, and the fact they say they can't be tracked, or they don't know what they are, or where they're coming from. That wasn't my point. I just wanted to. That was my initial point. I just thought the way that you kind of like intelligently break it down is to say, look, we understand that people out there taking the piss. And we kind of get it, because if I was a kid, believe me, bro, when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever, if this was going on in my neighborhood, I would be out there dealing with it and doing all this kind of and getting involved with it. I want to ask you, do you have access to TikTok?
Somewhere around here I could access to it. I'm not on TikTok that often, my friend, just like Facebook.
I'm not either, bro. I'm not into that kind of business, but there's a channel called Aaron Lee Craig, AARON, Lee, so LEE.
CRAIG, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can go to his channel, in late October, he posted. He's a musician. He posted up. He was going over an overpass or a bridge. We call it a bridge, just outside New Jersey, and the U.S. military were.
Hey, Lord. Wherever you're at right now, you're breaking up. We're about getting every other syllable from you.
Sorry, brother. I'll try and work my feet out and come back to you.
All right, thanks. If we could, Ed Brown, go ahead. Your hand's up, my friend.
Well, I'd like to bring up a little bit of a theory that we started to talk about in the back channel, and that is the escalation of the size of these NHI drones. And I kind of put that together into this puzzle. Let's say the United States government, the hidden government, does in fact know that those are NHI drones floating around, but they don't want disclosure. The government does not want a disclosure. So they're mixing their own drones in with it, saying it's no big deal.
Yeah. That was part of that was on my bingo card. That was one of the possible options, that there could be a bunch of UFOs that were flying around. We're just bringing the drones to go ahead and try and confuse everybody for what's actually being seen.
I think there's a good
But
chance.
I haven't seen one valid picture or video of anything that I would consider to be a non-human intelligence drone in this entire episode on the East Coast.
Well, we talked about this a few days ago, but there's no reason that the NHIs could not reproduce drones that look like our drones.
Why? They already have the technology. Use their existing technology. No reason to reproduce it if they already have stuff that's so much more advanced than what we have. But it's a possibility, Ed.
Yeah, well, it's enough to make your head swell with all the possible options that are out there right now.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. If we can get into our next piece here. I know we got Ken, go ahead really quick. I want to get on to our next piece then.
Right. I just want to thank you, Thomas, for allowing for a very complex scenario, various sources up there, both good and bad, all going on at the same time. I appreciate you allowing for that. And what Cron brought up was a rogue, how I would interpret it as a rogue aspect of our government, sending some of those things up. And I want to give it a little bit of a twist. And I know, Thomas, you didn't allow me to do this before. But let me try again, that the rogue aspect of our government is the Biden administration. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. It could be. You never know. I appreciate that insight, my friend. On that note, let's get into our next piece here. Who knows where it could be coming from, my friend? Let's get into our next piece if we could. Where is this at? Document solo. Here we go. Coming from Merrick von Rennenkamp. I believe he used to work within the Department of Defense, within our area of national security. What he's calling out is the non-human intelligence is 100% on the table for drone incursions. Drone incursions, what we're talking about here more than anything, is potentially looking at drones that are coming over our military bases, that are coming over our nuclear power plants, the places, our nuclear silos that we have for launching our potential, if we ever want to launch our nuclear missiles, it could be there. Now, coming from LinkedIn. Ex-NORAD head Van Herk explains, quote, our most advanced aircraft struggle to ID the Langley UAP, which could not be tracked or shot down. Per Base Commander Kelly, the incursions were quote, close encounters at Langley. Mike, have you heard this one yet?
No, I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So coming up in the text, during the Langley drone incursions, various aircraft, including our most advanced, were utilized in an attempt to further characterize a potential threat with very limited results. I cringe when people say just to shoot them down. It's not that simple, and it's certainly not safe to have a missile that is launched from an aircraft flying 300 to 600 knots or from the ground to a ship, with the missile flying at 2 to 3 times the speed of sound, with a warhead that explodes titanium rods at thousands of feet per second over a very populated New Jersey area. I think he explains this well, and this is potentially one of the reasons why we're not shooting any of this stuff down. If I continue, over 17 days, now we're talking about Langley Air Force Base. Remember, Langley Air Force Base is not just an Air Force base, it's also the base where a majority of our CIA assets fly from. So on that note, over 17 days, the drones have arrived at dusk, flew off and circled back, some shown small lights, making them look like a constellation moving in the night sky or a science fiction movie. Kelly said, quote, close encounters at Langley, end quote. They also were nearly impossible to track, vanishing each night despite a wealth of resources to deploy to catch them. Now, General Van Hernick at the time commander of U.S. Northcom and the North American Aerospace Defense Command, said drones had for years been spotted flying around defense installations, but the nightly drone swarms over Langley were unlike any past incursion. So there you have it. This is what we're talking about. Different times, different targets, different types of drones that we've been seeing. Would you look at that? Little Davey Altman's here. Dave, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, Thomas? How's it going, everybody?
Good, and yourself?
Not bad. Just hanging out, getting ready for the holidays. Figured I'd stop in and say happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays to you, too.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught that little conversation that Pavel and I had. I was able to touch base with this woman, Olivia, who she's been all over the news. She's kind of been like the spokesperson for the drones in New Jersey. She was on Inside Edition. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I befriended her, and she agreed to come on Pavel's show. I forget how you say it. It's in Spanish. It's like Yeah, that show. Hey, Mike, we went on that show and we had a conversation with her, and I've stayed in touch with her. And she said that, and the cool thing about her is she owns the coffee shop in the town she lives in. So all the police come in the morning, and she gets to have one-on-one conversations with them, and she's got them flying over her house, whatever they are. And she's got this really cool telescope set up. You know, she hasn't been able to record anything, but she's had some sightings of some weird stuff over her house every night. I've stayed in touch with her. She said they still have no idea what they are, and they have increased. Like, there's even more of these things flying over now. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. She seems like a very honest person to me. And she said that there's every morning people are coming in. It's like the place where the whole town go. It's like the water cooler in the morning before everybody goes to work. And they just exchange stories about how they get woken up every night, and they go out and they look and they see these things above their houses. And we asked her, like, you know, is there anything out in that town where you live? And she's like, no, we're in the middle of the farmland. There's nothing out there. There's no reason for these things to be out there. And we couldn't come up with, only thing we can come up with was a possibility that there's some type of mineral in the ground, that if these are actual things from someplace else, I'm not saying they are, we don't know what they are, but that would be the only reason that these things would go there, would be because of something underground. There's nothing out there at all.
Yeah, there is something underground. Hopefully it's not a WMD, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if they are sniffing for something out there, you know, she said she has trouble sleeping at night just thinking about that.
Yeah.
You know, they're really scared. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and I guess one of the best things to do is not be afraid, not be scared if you can, because when you're afraid, you're not thinking quite right in your mind. It's always, you know, keep your eyes open, understand what's going on, so you're making the best decisions for yourself and your family.
There is a team, a UAP investigation team going out there, but they're not heading out there for like another month. The Tedesco brothers are going out there.
Yeah.
They live out on Long Island, and they're going to take the drive out there and set up they've got some they got some like Dave Mason style equipment that they're going to go out there with, and just try and get some data on these things and to see if they could find out. Is that Doty over there? Is Doty the blowfish, or is that a different Rick?
No, Rick's not here right now. That's Rick Roberts.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, I wish we would just get a friggin' answer already. Just come out with it.
I think all of us would like to get an answer, but if you look at the dates that all the no-fly zones expire, for some reason, they all expire on January 19th. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. I just can't wait till about 3 years from now when I can make the Netflix documentary about how this all went down.
That'd be wonderful. I'd love to see it, Dave.
Me too.
Well, happy holidays. I appreciate you coming out. Anything else?
Yeah, for sure, man. No, that's it. I'll let you guys get back to it.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Dave,
all right, man. Later.
Yeah, Dave is a great resource. He's a producer guy, if not more director guy from the
no directing, producing
guy from the whole UFO media area. You do shows on which channels again?
The last show I did was Alien Encounters Fact or Fiction, which was and then I also consulted on George Knapp's Investigation Alien, which is on Netflix right now.
Nice. Well, congratulations on your work, my friend. You've been working hard, and it shows.
2025, man. 2025. It's all coming out.
Looking forward to it, my friend. Absolutely. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, I got a lot of stuff coming out. I'm not saying.
Out 24.
Good. Disclosure ain't coming out in 2025.
Maybe we'll get some little breadcrumbs to take us a little bit farther than we were in 2024.
Or at least not on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe by them, not by us. But all right, guys, peace out.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Matt Ramon, you have your hand up, my friend. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, one of the things that I was thinking too. You think they might be looking for something that NHI has left behind?
No. These aren't NHI on the East Coast, Matt. Well, they could be NHI, but at least the ones we've been seeing coming in from the ocean, going back out to the ocean, that our government acts like they don't know what's going on. If anything, it's human craft looking for something that nefarious humans have done.
Yeah, you don't think that it could be like some NHI device that they're trying to locate?
Well, maybe humans looking for it potentially. Was there a downcraft or something that went on? But whatever it is, we're looking for something. At least, potentially. I appreciate the question, Matt. Ed, go ahead.
Were you calling me or?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, I didn't hear you call me. We've been talking about things they're looking at, water resources, possibly looking at the military bases, the nuclear stuff. No one has mentioned power lines. And if someone is up there doing something nefarious, be it an adversary or be it an NHI, something that wants to destroy us, it could be looking at power distribution centers with the purpose of putting the grid down.
That's why all the different fly zones are in those types of areas. There are water treatment, there are electric distributions, different areas along those lines, because it's critical infrastructure that I hate to say it, there's been reports on a regular basis about those getting hacked in the United States by non-state actors.
Well, it's been said that to take the whole grid down, you only need about three good hits on distribution points that'll bring it down.
Yep, 3 different places, hit them down, and our grid collapses. That's what we get for building something and never upgrading it and making it resilient.
Such a pleasant thought to have tonight.
Isn't it? It's like having a fire in L.A. This is what a programmer talked about a long time ago. What would happen if someone were to go ahead and start a fire when the Santa Anas come in, but then go ahead and blow all the aqueducts coming in?
Yeah, that would be a big one.
Oh, yeah, be one of those things that you never want to have happen. Thanks for the question, Ed. Now, if I can get back to this one here, document solo. Ross Colhart reports, there's more sightings going on at this point, but this time it's happening in the Netherlands. A Dutch viewer got in touch with me to let me know there's been numerous drone sightings seen in the Netherlands. News story in Dutch below, but yes, they've been seen. Where have they been seen? Well, apparently it's been near our military bases. And not only that, I believe there were 2, Mike, was it the story? There were 2 people from, was it China, who were arrested?
Yeah, that was in Oslo, Norway.
That was Norway. These are the Netherlands. So in Netherlands, we've got UFOs that are, or drones that are coming over the United States military bases. Don't forget, we also have reports from a viewer who called in from Germany saying the same thing. And the one you're talking about is in Norway. There was actually a no-fly zone that was violated by 2 individuals who they quickly found and locked up.
Who were Chinese nationals flying a civilian type of drones. So yeah, they got caught, and with the drone flight getting all of the authorities' attention, whatever nefarious activities are being conducted by foreign adversaries, they got caught pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah.
Not a good time to be flying drones right now.
Oh, Not at all, my friend. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's just figuring out what's happening. You know, if we look at this is another little poll here that came out from CBS News just yesterday. Let me go ahead and bring this one up. Here we go. Are drones a threat to the U.S.? 53% of CBS says yes, it's a threat. 47% says no. But you know what that means, Mike? I am going to have a quick survey here. Let's see where our audience takes us. I want to start a poll. I'll ask the same question. Are the drones a threat to the U.S.? Question mark? Yes or no? Let's start the poll. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's get the sound effects going. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Sure. 1 minute, 30 seconds. And we're starting now.
All right, we've got our music up and going. Our sound effect is there. Let's see where we're going to take this, friends. Are the drones a threat to the United States? Well, looks like our audience is a bit more vocal on this one. So far, 74% of our audience is saying yes. Drones are a threat to the United States. With just a minute in, we've got 100 and almost 200 votes in already, and it's sticking right around 75%. Mike, quickly, would you vote yes or no?
Well, let me point out to the audience real quick that yes, I would vote yes, because it's definitely a threat to national security and to public safety.
Correct.
As we pointed out earlier, it interrupted an emergency transport helicopter from landing. So yeah, it's a threat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Laura Campbell, what do you think? Are drones a threat to the United States? Or at least these drones?
Absolutely a threat. Absolutely a threat.
Absolutely. With just 28 seconds left, let's go to Ed. Ed, how would you vote on this one? Are they a threat? Yes or no?
They are a threat. Definitely a threat.
Absolutely. With just 15 seconds in, with 264 votes, I don't think our audience is going to budge any further on this one. I think they know exactly where it is, staying at 76%. I am pretty confident about that's where we're going to be for the end of it. There we go. Let me go ahead and end that poll and bring out the final numbers. There we go, folks. We turn on. Okay, Google, stop. There, stop that. Let's go to here. Let's turn off that music so it doesn't keep on going. So there we go, folks. Our audience has spoken, and I like where they're taking this, my friends. That's where it needs to be. Yes, they are a threat to what's going on potentially, or they're dealing with a threat and they're just not telling us. British, go ahead. You have your hand up.
Yeah. Good evening, guys. I'm personally not sure that drones are a threat. I think UAPs are a threat. The one thing that's baffled me in the last few days has been trying to judge, as you did a piece on earlier, Thomas, trying to judge between what's real and what's not. In other words, fakery and reality. Has anybody seen the clip of what's purported to be an F-16 shooting down a drone in New York? Is that one that you guys have seen? Very dramatic.
I haven't seen that one.
Fighter jet shooting.
And if that was, that would be on every major news channel.
You would think so, right?
The thing is to look at when you see these videos, if it's a one-off video, it's over a major city, you've got one person reporting it, one person recorded it, and that's it. You have to take it aside and leave it over there until you start seeing more reports. Because if it's truly an F-16 shooting down something over New York City, Mike, how many thousands of people would have videoed that?
Good point.
Well, let me see. We have 10 million residents in the city of New York. I think this is something that would have been widespread very far.
The other interesting clip that I saw was, and you may have covered this a couple of days ago, I'm not sure, was the young chap from the army who kind of seemed like he'd been smoking something, sitting in his car telling us all about drones being from the corporal chap is nodding his head. Did anyone have any thoughts on that?
I don't remember a person sitting in their car who was high.
He wasn't high, Thomas. But it's the guy that we discussed about his uniform, and he had.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he spoke out against his chain of command.
I thought it was someone who was on the show, but literally the video clip of that one. I got you, my friend.
Another nonsense, right?
Some of the stuff he was talking yeah, was nonsense. Some of the stuff he was talking about may have been there, but some of the stuff he was talking about would have been topics that never would have been discussed on any on a military base. And by the way, based on what Corporal Abe was saying about his potential rank, probably not even discussed with a person at that level, right?
It would, yeah. And when he was saying evacuate, it's like, well, yeah, you know, if what he was saying was true, where are people supposed to evacuate to? Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. What did I lose that window to? Let's go ahead and bring the chat back there. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. All right, so a couple nights ago, we had a special report coming from News Nation with regards to drones and the situation that's been going on. I got dogs here trying to get into the cookie. Give me a second here. Got to deal with the dogs. Almost. Here we go, Mocha. Let's go ahead next and play this part of this clip, and then we'll go ahead and react on it. All right, let me get to this. Here we go, folks. Let's play this clip, and then we'll talk about what we've seen. Our usual style. Almost there. Let's play it.
Ross, good evening. Good to be with you. There's certainly a lot of questions about what these sightings are. Not really any answers as of yet. They're saying more so what they're not than what they are, from my experience. The White House saying there is nothing to be worried about, but the government is certainly taking some measures. The Federal Aviation Administration is now banning drone flights over large parts of New York and New Jersey until next month. The Pentagon is also stepping in, but the American public and lawmakers, they want answers.
The bottom line is that our forces, our commanders, if they observe UAS activity that they believe represents a threat, they have the authority to conduct mitigation operations.
The Defense Department authorizing shoot-downs of drones and sending counter-drone technology to military bases. News Nation pressing the Pentagon this week on how they will spot potential threats.
But what would constitute it as a threat? What is the benchmark, and have you been communicating with other military installations to be ready for more of these drones, and how to spot if it could be a threat before it might be too late?
This is not a new conversation for us within DoD. I mean, as I highlighted, drones flying, whether here or overseas, is not something new, right? And especially in the United States with 1 million registered drones.
This announcement comes as President Biden says Americans have nothing to fear.
Nothing nefarious, apparently, but they're checking it all out. We're following it closely. So far, no sense of danger.
But President-elect Trump isn't buying it, accusing the White House and Pentagon of a cover-up.
They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
The House Intelligence Committee held a classified briefing with more than 24 defense and intelligence officials this week. Some lawmakers telling News Nation they feel confident nothing bad is happening.
There's no evidence that anybody is acting unlawfully here, or that any of these drones, in as much as the authorities know anything about them, are associated with anybody with malign intent.
I think the FBI, the intelligence community, is taking this very seriously, is looking at every report, and to date, there's no evidence that there's anything nefarious going on.
But a majority of lawmakers tell News Nation they want more answers, including Secretary of State pick Marco Rubio.
Ask you quickly about the drone situation. Are you satisfied?
Anything more than what you've seen in the media.
So are you satisfied with the response from DOD and from Homeland Security last night?
I think we all wish we knew more.
House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall sharing his view that a foreign adversary may be at work.
My judgment, based on my experience, is that those that are over our military sites are adversarial and most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
In Washington, Alina Shirazi, News Nation.
I'd now like to welcome New Jersey Congressman Chris Smith and New Jersey.
Interesting thoughts. Your thoughts so far on this, Mike, as I'm trying to get additional content up.
No, it's basically the same narrative that we've been covering and hearing here on the show. That the points that are being made, nothing new that I can see. Basically, they just keep regurgitating the same information over and over again. It's bottom line is the government is not sharing any information about what they know. The incoming president-elect has already stated publicly that they do know where these objects are coming from, where they're going, but they refuse to acknowledge that. Instead, we have spokespeople like John Kirby telling us we're imagining it. It's manned commercial aircraft, and it's nothing that is considered to be a threat either to public safety or to national security, which contradicts itself with statements like that because they seem to be rampantly flying with impunity over every major military base on the East Coast here. So how could it not be a threat to national security? I mean, no one's answering that question from the government, right, Thomas?
Yeah, I'd actually have to agree to you, Mike. I just don't want to interrupt this one broadcaster watching for a different one. I know this is kind of there. We got Tucker Carlson talking about, there's something big happening, but he's also bringing up the concept or the thought that we're dealing with a bipartisan cover-up.
Which is something that you and I have talked about on the show for a long time now to the public. Right. So it's about time that Tucker Carlson would make a point like this. It's something that you and I have already spoken at length about.
Yep.
And it's true. So I want to hear what he has to say about it. It's very interesting.
To your point, Mike, do you think there's any specific reason why Trump won't just go out and blurt it out? Or do you think there's more to it than that?
Yeah, he's not in authority to do anything about it right now. So why would he jump into the mix?
Yeah.
It would make him be in a position where he's coming forward with something that he's now aware of, but is unable to act or do anything about it. It would probably be better to keep his mouth shut at this
Exactly.
point.
Yeah. Just stop saying, I know, we know. Just shut up and let them fuck it up if they're going to fuck it up.
You would think. One would think on that point. Let me go ahead. I do have this next video clip here. Let me try and just download it one more time. X was being... It's not letting me... Oh, here we go. I got it. Let me get up. This is an external application. I like playing it better than out of a browser. Let me go ahead and bring this next one up here. Get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and continue. This is Tucker Carlson talking about how we're dealing with is a bipartisan cover-up, my friends. Let's see where this information is coming from and what he has to say. Here we go, everybody.
On that actual drone story, I have to confess, when we did the alien stories on Tucker Carlson tonight, I wasn't too into those stories, mainly because I don't want to know about these problems that are like beyond solving. Like if the aliens are about to invade, like forget it. Just
well, they're not alien. They're
I know,
alien. They're spiritual beings from here, but whatever. Right. But I agree, we can't control it. I agree.
And in the beginning, people thought this was an alien thing in New Jersey, but it's obviously not. It's the government, again, is lying to us about what's going on there. So what do you think? I mean, I think the most plausible theory is that they're running tests, they say for this dirty bomb thing, or they want to gauge the public's reaction if drones were needed for some serious reason in the future. What do you think is actually happening there?
It's interesting. I mean, I feel like if there's, my whole job for 35 years has been like, find out what's going on. And often I haven't been able to find out what's going on. And like, do we ever really know what's going on?
Right,
Probably not. I mean, these are like metaphysical questions, but I think I've got a good track record for roughly finding out what's going on. Like you miss a lot, and maybe it's there's a lot of deception, but basically you kind of know what's going on, right? I've got nowhere on this. It's crazy.
I think that's a lot of people too. That's almost why I don't want to know anymore.
I've never seen anything like this, and I've called a lot of. I mean, I know a lot of people just because it's all I've ever done is like do this kind of thing. And I've called people at every level. I talked to, I talked to a member of Congress who I trust. There aren't many of those, but there are a few I trust. I talked to one I trust who went into the SCIF with congressional leaders, the secure area where you can have secure conversations and all that, and got a briefing from Intel briefers on those drones, and the briefing was effectively identical to the DoD press release. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're not telling members of Congress, which, by the way, I think is unconstitutional. I don't think Congress doesn't assert its rights. That's a whole separate question, but they should demand it. Like, we're not funding you until you give me the fucking answer.
Right.
But, excuse me, that's how I feel. But the point is, I called, every sector I called, and I got like 5 different answers. So here's what I know. I know that something actually big is happening. I mean, I think we can deduce that.
Yeah.
I know that the cover-up is bipartisan completely. I mean, it's bipartisan. That always makes me uncomfortable. When both sides are in on something, it's not good. And I know that I don't know what it really is, which is just I've never had this experience before.
Brian Pembo, yeah, I see a lot of thumbs up on this one. What are your thoughts on this, if I could ask?
Yeah, I know you noticed a lot of thumbs up there. Yeah, and this is my political attack on this is that yes, it's not Republican or Democrat, and I think this is a hard thing for people to get their heads wrapped around. It's swamp versus non-swamp. Those that are bought and those that are not. And in my opinion, Tucker makes a great point here that no, they're not read in on this. So they get into a skiff. You know, they go through all the procedures, everything else. They're going to hear all this stuff, and then they're told the same exact thing that's out in the public. And that's BS, and that's baloney. So obviously what's happening here is we do have a shadow government of sorts, a military shadow government, and or an executive shadow government that needs to be exposed. And I think that's part of what's happening here, is it's starting to be exposed.
Yeah. I'd have to agree on that. It's just one of these situations we keep on looking at, trying to find out what the truth is. It's a government, I think Tucker puts it well when he goes ahead and says that he doesn't like it when both sides are working together to go ahead and cover this up.
Yeah, and if I could add one more thing, Thomas, one thing I've been, when we remember when we had the colloquy with Schumer and Rounds, oh yeah, we're going to, attach us to the NDAA, it's going to come out. Well, no offense, Mr. Schumer, but you had the chance to introduce that as the Queen bill at any time during this whole year. We're coming up on almost 1 year since that colloquy was done. And that never happened. And so us, the people, are sick of it. We know when these lies are happening. And so I think what Tucker was referring to there too is that Congress needs to exercise their power, specifically the power of the purse. And look, if you're not going to be honest with these people, if you're going to run this shadow government, then we're going to devoid you of funding.
Don't give if the executive branch is lying to you and you don't believe them, don't give them the money to operate. Shut the government down. Don't be afraid of it. Do what you need to do to bring it back under control. But our legislative branch, the House and the Senate, are too freaking afraid to stand their ground and to keep the pork from flowing through. And the cover from happening.
I would agree 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Now let me go ahead and get back to this video that we were before of Ross Coulthard talking to some legislators from New Jersey. Here we go. Let's bring this one up. All right, here we go, folks.
Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia. Congressman, the FAA has announced that it's imposing a TFR, a total flight restriction over large sections of New Jersey. By any measure, this is a significant backdown to the previous position by the government, which has stated that these objects are legal drones, legal aircraft, and you people in New Jersey are all suffering from mass hysteria.
Yeah, anything but. And, there's 22 different sites that have been put as no-fly zones, and they're the beginning. There will be more. Partners have asked, Jersey Central Power and Light has asked, we believe, that this be done. If you look where they are, it's where there's electrical grids infrastructure, and it just begs the question, if there's nothing to see here, then why are you taking further action to protect? Because
in this picture that they have up of the drone right now, these are the drones in question. They've got red on one side, green on one side, red on the other. Both sides flash out to white. Sometimes some of them will have actually whiter lights that go in between. So, yeah, this looks like the right morphology.
It's where these sightings are, and there's more that need to be added, frankly. many more, including in the nuclear station down in Salem County, which has experienced a number of drones. And Earl is a naval weapons station. It's in my district. I've talked to the commanding officer, and they've had drones hovering over the rail line where the munitions are brought from their depot down to the water when they unload them onto ships. And just so you know, we just had a meeting online with a number of people from Homeland Security, DOD, and I was shocked when the Homeland Security, in answer to my question about what Kirby had said, that what I had revealed that a Coast Guard person, a commanding officer, had said one of his 47-footers had many drones following it right off the coast of Ocean County, and they were 100 feet behind the cutter. It wasn't a cutter, but it was a rescue boat. And they saw it, the sailors saw it, and then when they turned, they followed. Kirby has said, oh, we've looked into this. There are jets on their way into John F. Kennedy. And it was repeated today, a doubling down that somehow our men and women of the Coast Guard, who are very well trained and situationally aware and very observant, somehow didn't see what they saw. I find that appalling, and it's just par for the course of what we've seen over the last month.
Assemblywoman Fantasia, some sources of mine are telling me from within the police, the Defence Force, and also Homeland Security and the FBI, they're actually saying they feel that the White House is gaslighting the people of New Jersey by suggesting they're not seeing what they're seeing. What's your view?
That's a very, very accurate assessment from a state level. Not only are federal authorities diminishing what civilian reports may be, and of course, I mean, when you open up a tip line to report what you see in the sky, you are going to get a mix of different things. You know, civilians may misidentify at times, but it's very difficult to misidentify an SUV-sized drone hovering near the tree line that is not following any normal flight pattern that we typically see with aircraft. And to double down, as the congressman said, and refute direct information we were given. Like, I was part of a briefing a week ago at the New Jersey State Police ROC, and Patrick Callahan, the colonel of the New Jersey State Police, clearly stated that he sent his men up in a helicopter, and they landed above the drone, and when they got to that point, the drone turned their lights out and became undetectable. So you tell me, now you are saying that hundreds, if not thousands, of New Jerseyans shouldn't believe their own eyes. You're telling us that the state police shouldn't believe their own eyes. You're telling us personnel at Picatinny Arsenal, who reports 11 credible sightings, shouldn't believe their own eyes. And then you have Mayorkas go on TV over the past couple days and say, perhaps it's stars or convenience store drones. Convenience store drones.
Congressman, are people in New Jersey getting alarmed or even frightened by the mixed messaging that they're getting from government?
I think alarmed would be the best term. New Jerseyans are not easily frightened, and I mean that. And I talk to many constantly. I talk to law enforcement. I talk to people on the street, mayors, assemblymen, and thank you for your great work, Assemblywoman. You really have been a great voice. My two sheriffs, Sean Golden and Mike Mastronardi, have done an amazing job of trying to track and to report in a way that is actionable, and they're calm, but they are, like I am, very disturbed by Homeland Security. When you have the Secretary of Homeland Security saying there's nothing unusual about all of this, of course it's unusual. Speak truth to power. Talk to your president and tell him he needs to brief the nation, and DOD needs to step up. And Homeland Security, unfortunately, has done far too little. The state police wants to do more. They need the tools, and local law enforcement needs the tools too. But why can't they bring one of these down, and determine whether or not they are foreign? Are they Chinese? I chair the China Commission. Xi Jinping is a monster, committing human rights abuse every single day, genocide against the Uyghurs. I can't even go there. I'm on the hit list not to be allowed into China. They are very malevolent, and to think that they don't have the capability to do just what they're doing, or Putin and maybe even Iran, we need to know if this is some foreign adversary. I have been told that the highest levels of the U.S. government, they're not U.S. in any way, shape, or form. They're not subcontractees, they're not CIA, they're not DOD, which they've said publicly a number of times. Well, who are they?
Congressman, the government has also made it very clear that there's no evidence that this is a foreign adversary, Russia, China, Iran.
I don't know.
Okay, I have to bring this up. Mike? Susan, are you there?
I'm right here, Thomas.
I'm here.
Do you say adversary or adversary, like an anniversary but with an ad?
Adversary.
But it's usually, no, it's adversary, isn't it?
Or I use adversary.
It's adversary. Ross just has some interesting ways to pronounce things from Australia. I just had a double question on that one. That's all.
Yeah, adversary.
Okay, he calls it adversary for some reason. Either way,
I have no idea why.
I don't know. Let's continue on. Sorry, it's just one of those little things.
North Korea.
Right.
Do you believe that?
No, I don't think they know, but part of it is they have not. Why can't we bring one of these down? Is our airspace so susceptible and so easily violated that we can't go and say, okay, here they are, let's get at least one and find out where, what's the origin. I asked Secretary Mayorkas on on one of these visual things. I asked him very point blank, follow.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Mayorkas, of all people?
No, it's one of these visual things. Oh, you mean a Zoom call?
Yeah.
That's
a boomer, my friends. There you go.
One. Can't we follow him? And he suggested no, as the Assemblywoman said. The state police said all of a sudden it goes dark. Well, that kind of sophistication, that kind of stealthiness clearly suggests this is not something that's being done in somebody's backyard. These are not hobbyists. This is probably one of these nation-state terrorist kind of countries like Putin's.
Oh, no. What we're dealing with here in the United States is probably from our friends in the United States, called our military. One thing I want to go ahead and bring up really quick, they're saying, what kind of technology do we have that we could actually bring out and shoot them down? Well, believe it or not, British soldiers successfully tested a drone killer radio wave option for the first time. Well, I guess it's not in the United States because clearly we don't have this tech. Now, British soldiers have successfully trialed this technology. They're calling it a game-changing weapon that can take down a swarm of drones using radio waves for less than a cost of a pack of mince pies. How about that? Let's get into this here. Move it over to the left. Leave it there for right now. What am I talking about? What does this technology do? It's radio frequency directed energy weapons. Can take down a swarm of drones for very cheap. The system is capable of hitting targets up to 1 kilometer away and just costs about 13 cents per shot. Now, granted, this technology is going to cost them a lot of money. The cost for operation is not that high. The program supports more than 135 skilled jobs across the UK industry. Now, British soldiers have trialed this, and it's actually working. The radio frequency directed energy weapon development system can detect, track, and engage a range of threats across air, land, and sea. RFDEWs, radio frequency direct energy weapons, are capable of neutralizing targets, like we said, up to 1 kilometer away with a near instant effect and an estimated cost that's very reasonable. Now, the weapon uses high-frequency waves to disrupt or damage critical electronic components inside devices such as drones, causing them to be immobilized or fall out of the sky. It can also be used against threats on land or sea. Now, Mike, we have the Ghostbusters eco packs that they use on Navy ships. Those seem like those have been ineffective in every single application when they've been dealing with a non-human intelligence potentially and drones on the East Coast. This looks a lot more formidable. What are your thoughts?
Potentially, but what I'd like to know is what class of drone is it specifically designed for? If it's class 1 and 2 civilian drones?
This is military class. Look at the size of that. and the energy that goes along with it. Yeah, this is not something that's used to take out consumer drones that people can go ahead and pick up at Walmart or your local gas station. This is something that's got a lot more power to it for taking out, if you want to call it, drones that would be coming from an adversary, like the ones we've been seeing over Lake and Heath and all the other places. It's a wonder why, it's a shame they didn't have this technology deployed yet, but it sounds like for the next wave of what's going to be hitting the United Kingdom, they're prepped and ready for it. Good for them.
I'm a little suspicious yet because so far these new drones that we're experiencing seem to not emit or be tracked by radio waves or have a heat signature.
This isn't something that's going to disrupt the radio waves of what's controlling the drone. This is a directed energy platform that's sending high bursts of energy at the drone. It's literally cooking the silicon inside the unit with what it's being sent. So this isn't like what we have in the United States or what they have in some places in Israel, where it's like a wall of information that comes up. Any of the people who are dealing with a first-person drone operator, once they get past this, they can't control it anymore. No, this is literally used for blasting the drones out of the sky.
So it's like a microwave at a long distance of these objects. It fries them.
To a degree, yes.
Yeah, that's what's needed under the circumstances.
You would think.
Oh, yeah, you would think. So our government, for some reason, is not employing technology like this. And we know they have full access to it from the UK. UK is developing
the UK just got this fresh off from the military industrial complex right to their doorstep. They've brought it, they've tested it out, they've showed that it worked, and now it's been deployed. And they're getting this technology, quote, getting this technology into the hands of our service personnel is hugely rewarding.
Oh, it is. Because our government has been claiming that they can't detect them, they can't bring them down. So if the UK is successful in that, it doesn't matter where it is. At one point, if we have these drones come down and we can analyze where they're coming from and who made them, we need that information. So it may come out sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Now, coming from the managing director of the program, quote, I am thrilled with the success of radio frequency direct energy weapon firing trials. Thales has been at the forefront of this pioneering technology for over 40 years, and our continued research and development in this sector, along with our partners in government, paves the way for a strong future in the field. So Thales sounds like a good investment these days, Mike.
Oh, yeah. If you want to bump your 401k up, that might be a company to put some stock into.
You think?
I think it, especially if it's successful. And with the way that drone development continues to expand, as we move into the rest of the 2020s, it's probably going to be a sorely needed type of technology.
Yeah,
I would expect.
I'd have to agree, my friend. Now let's go ahead. Are you finding this broadcast that was from Ross Coulthard the other day interesting?
So far, it's interesting. Yeah, Ross does good work and has access to many sources in the community and in government. So it doesn't really shock or surprise me that he's able to delve into information like this and cover it.
Exactly. Let's continue on with that broadcast then. Here we go, folks.
But it was a rescue boat, and they saw it. The sailors saw it, and then when they turned,
rewind a little bit here. Sorry.
What I had revealed that a Coast Guard person, a commanding officer, had said one of his 47-footers had many drones following it right off the coast of Ocean County, and they were 100 feet behind the cutter. It wasn't a cutter, but it was a rescue boat. And they saw it, the sailors saw it, and then when they turned, they followed. Kirby has said, oh, we've looked into this. There are jets on their way into John F. Kennedy, and it was repeated today. doubling down that somehow our men and women of the Coast Guard, who are very well trained and situationally aware and very observant, somehow didn't see what they saw. I find that appalling, and it's just par for the course of what we've seen over the last month.
Assemblywoman Fantasia, some sources of mine are telling me from within the police, the Defence Force, and also Homeland Security and the FBI, they're actually saying they feel that the White House is gaslighting the people of New Jersey by suggesting they're not seeing what they're seeing. What's your view?
That's a very, very accurate assessment from a state level. Not only are federal authorities diminishing what civilian reports may be, and of course, I mean, when you open up a tip line to report what you see in the sky, you are going to get a mix of different things. You know, civilians may misidentify at times, but it's very difficult to misidentify an SUV-sized drone hovering near the tree line that is not following any normal flight pattern that we typically see with aircraft. And to double down, as the congressman said, and refute direct information we were given. Like, I was part of a briefing a week ago at the New Jersey State Police ROC, and Patrick Callahan, the colonel of the New Jersey State Police, clearly stated that he sent his men up in a helicopter and they landed above the drone, and when they got to that point, the drone turned their lights out and became undetectable. So you tell me, now you are saying that hundreds, if not thousands of New Jerseyans shouldn't believe their own eyes. You're telling us that the state police shouldn't believe their own eyes. You're telling us personnel at Picatinny Arsenal, who reports 11 credible sightings, shouldn't believe their own eyes. And then you have Mayorkas go on TV over the past couple days and say, perhaps it's stars or convenience store drones. Convenience store drones.
Congressman, are people in New Jersey getting alarmed or even frightened by the mixed messaging that they're getting from government?
I think alarmed would be the best term. New Jerseyans are not easily frightened, and I mean that. And I talk to many constantly. I talk to law enforcement. I talk to people on the street, mayors, assemblymen, and thank you for your great work, Assemblywoman. You really have been a great voice. My two sheriffs, Sean Golden and Mike Mastronardi, have done an amazing job of trying to track and to report in a way that is actionable, and they're calm, but they are, like I am, very disturbed by Homeland Security. When you have the Secretary of Homeland Security saying there's nothing unusual about all of this, of course it's unusual. Speak truth to power, and talk to your president and tell him he needs to brief the nation, and DOD needs to step up, and Homeland Security, unfortunately, has done far too little. The state police wants to do more. They need the tools, and local law enforcement needs the tools too. But why can't they bring one of these down, and determine whether or not they are foreign? Are they Chinese? I chair the China Commission. Xi Jinping.
Hey, Mike, I have to go ahead and say I have to agree with representative here. There is no reason why they can't go ahead and bring these drones down unless, truthfully, they don't want to, because they're hiding the truth.
Yeah, they've been hiding this the whole time. Yeah. They have not wanted the public to have any idea about what these drones are and where they're coming from and what's going on. It's insulting, like we have consistently covered it for the audience.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, Mike, if I can go ahead and remind our audience, if you're having a good time, you're enjoying the podcast, if you look at this, we have 1,225 viewers watching the program right now and only 430 likes. What are we doing right? If you're enjoying the show, give us a thumbs up. If not, give us a thumbs down and tell us below in the comments. Now, more importantly, if you haven't subscribed to Disclosure tonight, we'd love to have you here as a regular. We had a unbelievable, great surge of people come onto the channel. It shows based on our nightly viewership. So if you're one of those people who's been hanging on, trying to figure, should I subscribe or not? Please do me a favor. Give me an early Christmas present. I'd love to have you here as a subscriber. It's one of those things we try to do. First of all, TVT, keep yourself muted. I'll put your hand up, and I will go. I'll call on you, Dylan. Go ahead first.
Yeah, I just think that China is taking advantage of Joe Biden. And I think that Joe Biden's taking bribes from the Chinese government to not shoot these drones down. I think China's trying to collect intelligence from China. Joe Biden's trying to collect. Yeah, China's trying to collect intelligence and
United States,
from the United States. So I think that, like, if we don't see this technology being deployed soon, I think something's up.
Yeah. I did see a picture today that was leaked going ahead and showing, who was it? Joe going ahead and introducing Hunter to Xi Jinping. Not a good look. Not a good look. Kron, you have your hand up, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick point on the takedowns. So there's two things. Number one, if there's a payload in there, we don't know what's in there. And you take something down and it has a payload, we'll just say WMD or biological or any of those types of elements that people are concerned about. You take that down and it affects an area, you have a bigger problem than drones flying.
Well, Kron, these things are coming from the ocean every single night far off the shore. So if they did want to take one down, they could take it down over the ocean, just as what Brian Pemble's saying right now in the chat.
True. And I don't disagree with that. But I will also say, on the other hand, now here's the other side of this. We took down those 3 objects, 2 unknown objects and the spy balloon, remember? And they took them down without hesitation. They took one down, I believe, in Alaska, and the other one down, was it Ohio, Lake Yucatan?
They took one down in Dead Horse, Alaska. They took another one down over the Yukon in Canada. The next one was over Maelstrom Air Force Base. That's where we have our nuclear ICBMs on that base. They didn't get anything there. It got dark, and the next day they shot that down over Lake Huron. Now, the only images that we have of that are specifically of the one that was shot down over the Yukon. That the image of that was actually captured by one of the Americans' jet fighters, but it wasn't released to the United States, but it was given to Canada, and Canada released it to their public. So there's clearly a problem going on with cover-up in our country.
So that brings to my point is, okay, we didn't hesitate before, but we're hesitating now. So why the hesitation unless you know what's there, what's in it, what's happening, and what will happen if you take one down?
In other words, what Trump was saying, they know what it is. They know where it's coming from. They know what's going on. They know where it's going to. It's not a secret for the White House or the DOD, and I tend to believe that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kron. God, no one else has their hand up. How about that? Well, Mike, would you look at that? Would you look at the time? We're at that point. Actually, Corporal Abe, you did have your hand up, my friend. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, you and Kron pretty much covered what I wanted to say. That's why I put my hand down. But I'll just say really quick that there's no excuse for these things not to have been shot down within the month and 2 weeks that we've been dealing with this. And I recently watched a video where I believe there's a new counter UAV drone that shoots a net at a much larger drone in the air, and it takes them down super easy, kills their propulsion system. So there's no apps. It's no excuse.
Take the same kind of nets that you have when we're following a group of caribou from a helicopter. We're going, we want to shoot it down. We'll shoot out a net. It shoots at it and it takes it down. There's no reason we can't use that out of helicopters, and there's no reason we can't have that from other drones, right?
World War II spotlights. We've got all types of helicopter aircraft. There's just no reason. There's many options, many different branches. This is why we have these different branches. So it isn't an administrative decision. I don't believe it's the military. You can't, we all know that the executive branch runs the military. So you got to point your fingers at the administration right now.
If it's not
and it's
one
sad
way,
that,
yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. I have to agree with you completely on that. And thanks for your insight on that. Abe, all your insight is always on target, my friend. TVT, your hand is up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mike on this one.
Hold on, your mic is way far from you, and when you're talking it, you're hitting it a bunch of times, and it's creating a lot of noise.
Better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just the type of technology.
Hold on a second. Your microphone is like making a whole bunch of hitting on the actual sensor itself, and it's setting my subwoofers in overtime here.
Okay. Is that better?
Oh, much better, I think.
All right. Yeah, just the kind of technology that they're displaying. I mean, like Mike was saying, they're not picking up any kind of heat signature, and they're obviously have stealth characteristics. I mean, not the fact. We just have to consider maybe.
I can't understand you. We'll figure it out after the show. But there's like a whole bunch of like noise like that going on, where it's sounding like there's something hitting your piece when you're talking. It's just a bunch of bass that's coming in, and it's blocking out your ability to even talk. We can figure it out after the show, my friend. I actually even heard something going on where it almost sounded like there is a ground fault going on, where it's creating a big buzzing noise when you were talking last time.
Yeah, something with the microphone, but I muted him so that we could just deal with this after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. What a great show. What a great opportunity to hang out with friends, Mike. If you look at the time, it's one of those days. Oh, we got one more person with their hand up. Go ahead, Kay.
We also had Brian Pemba with his hand up.
We'll
take Brian
Kay's got her hand up first, and then Brian. Go ahead, Kay.
Hi, I sent you videos, and I live in northern New Jersey, where you live. I mean, what you've been broadcasting. And I've seen, 5 drones even tonight. And this is just horseshit, because I've walked my dog to the same field for 3 years. And I've seen drones, but not like this. And
they're not typical drones, Kay. I agree with you on that.
And what I sent a video of across the trees, and then it went through 2 drones, and then it dropped like it was falling from a tower. And I was like, oh my God, it's gonna crash. So I tried to follow it, and of course my phone died, but it just kind of like regained like its mobility. It was crazy. I was like, wait, is this flying? I thought it was gonna crash. And I just see like, and in Mendham, where that coffee shop is, it's like in the middle of nowhere, and it's where like uber rich people live.
Right.
So, I mean, and it's not so far from where Trump's place golf course is, and
Bedminster, yeah.
Yes, there's many famous people that live out in Mendham, and Morristown Airport is like 20 minutes away from me. So I don't understand. And Trump flies into there, and I don't understand why there's still drones flying around my town. Like, I could drive from my house to Morristown Airport and be there in 20 minutes.
I think you sent me the one with the Christmas lights, right?
Yes, that's it. And my tech skills suck. They're from like
so
the
you've got one
period.
here that's showing up over the house,
yes.
I believe.
Yes, that's
and
it.
it's a little blinking light off in the distance. Yes.
Yes, and where you're pointing at right now is where I see them come from, and that's near. I'm very close to the North Bay area. Elizabeth is 20 minutes away from my town. On a good day, I'm talking like green lights every time. So it's like it's horse shit.
Yeah.
And I still see them. And that one, CBS News came to my town, and they interviewed this woman, and you even showed it on your broadcast. And it was flying. I saw it that night, the one that was on TV. I was in the field that night. And I'm like, holy crap, what the? And you can hear them, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And it's like, if there are, there's any up in Mine Hill where that guy is, there's the Sterling Mines.
Yeah. It's almost like some people report hearing a noise. Some people report hearing noise from these things when it's running. Some people say it's silent. It honestly, it sounds like there's dual energy systems on these particular craft that could be handling it one way or the other.
I mean, I am not a scientific person, but I find this just fascinating how it just kind of went right between 2 of them and dropped. But what's interesting is, like, in the end of October, I noticed this, like, you know, I'm always looking up at the sky, and I, like, noticed this bright, like, I thought it was a star, and then I saw 2 stars next to it. I'm like, oh, is that, maybe I never even noticed it, but I keep seeing it every night, and it's a big, giant white one that's not, and I see several of them. And it's not like I have to look up anymore. I look like off to the side to see them. So it's like, who the hell knows?
Did you hear any noise coming from them, Kay?
Yes, I do. I
What
can
does it
hear
sound
like
like?
the other night. It sounds like a helicopter.
A
and
drone.
then yes, and then I can hear them laying in my bed. My friends will be like, "Did you hear them last night?" Holy crap! I think so. You can hear me like, "Holy crap!" Like I think it's gonna drop.
Yep, exactly.
Like that whole area, and just so you know, there's up in Round Valley. You also showed a video up there. That's also known as the Bermuda Triangle of New Jersey.
Oh wow! I didn't know one existed.
Yep. And off in Ocean County, that can be anywhere. If you check out, Seaside Heights, Seaside Park area, and you have military bases right in that area, Monmouth County. You're very close. Monmouth County, you're right near the ocean. And they're on a barge. I can see them. I have that type of a talent, shall you say, and I can see them. And it's like they fly into, like they're almost mocking us, whatever they're doing. And they're recharging in something. And almost like a cargo.
Interesting.
It's fucking crazy. It's just crazy. It's
and it's still continuing. You're still seeing them as late as tonight?
Yes, I just saw them as I was walking my dog tonight. I can probably see them as I look at my window.
There you go.
I don't know why this town, but I mean, I can maybe, but who knows? Maybe they're trying to find a place to land. Because Picatinny Arsenal is like 45 minutes away from my.
Yeah, maybe they're looking for something, and maybe we'll get the truth in the next 28 days.
Or a place to find to land or whatever. Or
there's
send
plenty
a
of
signal.
places these things can land, but I think they're loitering in the sky looking for something that our government doesn't want us to know what they're looking for.
Thank you for all of your work. It's so fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you subscriing to the show and being in the chat and calling in the back. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anytime you need Northern New Jersey info, you can ask me.
I definitely will. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Have a good evening. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Brian, your hand's up, my friend.
Yeah, Thomas, I know you're trying to wind down the show, but I just want to bring up a few things to the audience here real quick. One, Thomas and Mike put on the show, and they put in a lot of work, guys. I can't even tell you how many times I text them and everything else. They put in so much behind-the-scenes work. So any subscribing or liking, I mean, I don't make anything more or less off of this. I don't make any money on this. I know Thomas doesn't not make any money, neither does Mike. But it's a really unique format to where people can come in and express their views and express their feelings. And so I just want to say thank you to you guys as we roll into the Christmas season and the new year, that it's very much appreciated.
Thank you very much. And I would love it. I could sit back and say, hey, Thomas, what do you think? Or have someone ask that question. I'm just sitting here waiting for people to call on me. It'll be so much fucking easier.
No, anyways, I just wanted to say a thank you because I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way as I do, and so we're saying thank you from a lot of us.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that vote of confidence. What a great show. What a great opportunity to hang out with the friends and our audience and everybody. On that note, I want to go ahead and thank our friends in the audience for coming out, and especially all of our friends who have subscribed and they're in the chat right now. Hint, hint, wink, wink, say something, friends. And I promise I'll call on you as quickly as I can get to the list of all the people who are out there. So but first, it's called Flush. I want to go ahead and thank the people who gave us super chats tonight. That includes Wildcat Mahone, Lord McCormick, and of course, starting off our super chats tonight was the one, the only Brian Pemble. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate that super chat and for talking us up at the end of the show. More importantly, I want to go ahead and thank our friends who have been participants in the chat tonight. Good, the list isn't that long. I can get through it pretty quick. I want to thank $70 Million Man, Elcino Santos, Angel Flight 76, Anton YouTube account. Let's thank Anton Ghost. Rich Buddy, thank you very much, Rich. I appreciate that. Every penny helps. Let's thank B-Doc, Beyond Rocket Science, Bob Thorson, Bobby G82. We had Boot Meat. Bradley, at least it's not Boot Liquor. Let's thanks Chad McClendon, Cindy Phil Hauer. Hopefully got that right, Cindy. I'm sorry. Country Carpenter, Corporal Abe, Craig Smith, Dark and Light, Dr. Republic. We had Dragon Rider FPV, Early Love 2023. We had Ernie's been here. We had Firefly, Helena, Highlander, Howling Husky. My Husky's upstairs taking a nap. I Am Kron has been here along with James Matheson, J-Cat, Jeff Carrero. We also had Juliana Reverbell, not Reverbal, but Reverbell. We had Kathy and Kelly Broad and those piercing blue eyes. We got Mr. Lit. Thank you very much. I appreciate that super chat, Nancy and Matt. Holy cow, the Christmas wishes coming in. Thank you. We had Lit has been here along with Mr. Clicker. We had Lynn 60 Malou, Miami, Mary, Matt Ramone, Metal Gaming, Mia Luna, Michaela McCurry, Mike E. Moonpie, Nancy Kuzmano. We had Rick Urick, another super chat coming in from Bob Thorson. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everybody. Another, actually, I want to thank Paul Ross, Peggy and her South Florida friends, Pinky Witch 50, Raul has been here along with Rainstorm Hunter, Renan, Rich Buddy's here, Rodney Lee, Rude Panda, Sam Wallace. Terminator Osborne, our resident agentologist, has been around all night along with Space Coast Flights. We have Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone, Crystal, Mineral Magic. You made it back from the other day. Thanks for coming back, my friend. Star Child's been here along with Stephen A., Super Unknown, the Chromosome Cowboy. We had Tim Tracy, Triggered Easily, Tweety Pie, Vic Vancouver, Warren, and Carissa Rowe. How about that? We had the Weebs React, Yankee 58, and F5 Twister. Wow. Yeah, that is a little mix of Mr. BBB 333, but you know what? On that note, where is it at? I want to go ahead and thank our friends in the back who have been with us tonight asking all the great questions. Alice W., thanks for coming out tonight, my friend.
Hey, Thomas, great show. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Also want to thank Brian Pemble. Appreciate your comments and questions and praise, my friend.
Absolutely. Anytime, Thomas. Thank you.
You better believe it. Also want to thank Corporal Abe. Thanks for coming out.
Merry Christmas. Look forward to the next show. Everybody stay safe out there and enjoy the holidays.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I also want to thank Dylan. Thanks for your question tonight, Dylan.
Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. Ed Brown, thanks for stopping by. And not in your recliner. Did it work out? Are you comfortable enough at the kitchen table?
Yeah, I'm having a good time right now.
Oh, you're back in the recliner. There you go.
My compliments to you, like Brian said. You guys do a great job with this show. And really had a good night tonight.
Thank you. You too, my friend. Also want to thank Kay Daughtery. Thank you for your question tonight and your comments.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you as well. Kron, appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, Thomas. I want to say great show for the history books, Thomas and Mike. And I also want to say, everyone, have a happy holiday. Stay safe. Don't drink too much eggnog. Last but not least, rest in peace, Larry. We will miss your epic rants.
Oh, God, yes. Mr. Larry, quite contrary. Yeah, we lost good old Larry today. See, I know Mike sent me a picture of Larry earlier today. What did I do with it? Let's see, I've got a picture.
It's in your DM.
I know, that's what I'm going for right now, Mike. Larry, it broke since we talked about it on the show. Larry, the story about Larry, us losing Larry, has been all over Twitter. I'm glad some people are watching and sharing that. I know his wife was pretty saddened by his loss. If I bring this up, yes, there's a happy picture of Larry. One of the few moments that he was happy, but we miss you, my friend, one way or the other. Let me get back to where I was just at. Desk chat. All right. Who else am I saying goodbye to? Laura Campbell, thanks for coming out.
Another great show, Thomas, and Happy New Year's to everyone that's coming up. It's going to be interesting in New Jersey with the fireworks and drone displays for New Year's, too. Keep a lookout with that.
You better believe it. None of your business. Susan Ford, thanks for coming out.
Merry Christmas and another year of great shows, Thomas.
Yeah, well, we'll actually have some Christmas shows and New Year's shows to celebrate what happened in the past year and looking forward on the new year ahead. Thank you. Rick Roberts, thank you for coming out as well.
Anytime. Thank you. Great show.
Absolutely. TVT, thank you for the questions tonight.
Hey, yeah, thank you. I had to turn off the old fan behind me.
That worked. Whatever was causing it, we got it. On that note, Mike, I appreciate you coming out, my friend.
Oh, my pleasure, and thank you, Thomas. It was one hell of a show for our audience tonight. We covered a lot of great topics, and we'll be returning tomorrow for the holiday show.
What happened to my desk? There we go.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Mike, as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. It's the only city y'all want to go back to. Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
y'all come back now
business.
here. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.